Well, that doesn't look right because the servo's not actually turning. We're just taking up slop there. Has this ever happened to you? Well, if you are an LMT owner, whether it's a standard or the King Sling, probably's happened to you at some point. Big monster truck tires, direct steering, even with servo savers, it tends to eat servo. So in this video today, we are putting in KST fancy servo here, 38 kg full metal geared, all this stuff, 38 kg at 6 volts, 42 kg at 7.4. Should be plenty to turn these big old tires. So we're getting this KST Servo installed, and as we're doing so, we're putting on the Treal Servo saver with it as we go to upgrade the steering that's clearly needs an upgrade on my King Sling. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, or doing product review videos and how-tos just like this one. I'm going to start by getting the body up and off of it so I can get access to the receiver box, and then we're going to go ahead and get this whole old servo out of here with its servo saver so we get the new ones installed. As you unplug it, remember it's always channel 1 for steering, so you'll want to be very careful there, and you want to pay attention to the orientation of the plugs. Make sure you put the new one in the same way. It'll come out just right through the edge of this receiver box here, and then you will have to snip these wire ties in order to get the wire free. Before you do take the servo all the way out, do note the orientation that the splines are to the right here of the servo, so you make sure that you don't get the next one in upside down and wonder why your steering won't center. So as I mentioned earlier, we got this KST servo in here. This is the X20-4208. It is a brushless servo. Comes with some different servo horns and everything on there. Of course, we're not going to need those for today, but one of those is actually a clamping aluminum horn, so that is kind of nice. Here's the servo itself pulling out. Black, nice metal case, full metal gears and everything in it. 38 kg at 6 volts, 42 at 7.4. It will actually go to an 8.4 volt rating and gets you all the way up to 46 kg. So I'm gonna have to see. I don't remember if the BEC in the smart ESCs is actually adjustable. If it is, we might just throw some extra voltage at it for the heck of it. And like we said, we're not going to put that factory servo horn back on because, you know, factory servo is a 23 tooth servo. Aftermarket servos tend to be 25 tooth, so that means we need something different, and we're going with this Treal unit here. Really nice silver, looks great, and it's 25 tooth. So of course we're going to just test fit it here real quick and make sure that it fits on there nicely. Looking pretty good. It is a locking servo horn. It does have multiple places here. It looks like we're gonna have to steal the nut out of the back of here in order to put it in. It is made for this application, so it either has the outside hole or they do give you an additional inside hole depending on if you want to multiply your torque there a little bit. You'd have to reset some endpoints. It is an adjustable servo saver just like the factory one is, which is nice, and it does come with spring and other screws here, so we should be in good shape. As I open up this screw bin, please do note that this small screw is the one that you're going to be using here for the clamping servo horn, and it does look like it's actually including all the hardware here, the nut that we need, the screw, the servo horn nut, everything that we need actually here to install it, which is quite nice. As I mentioned earlier, it comes with this extra spring, which is interesting. It does have a spring installed. It comes with 0 instructions, but it does come with a spring installed. And if you've never messed with these before, how tightly you have this nut on the top here determines how tight the servo saver is. I'm assuming that spring in there is an alternate spring in case you want to adjust your servo saver tension even more. As another reminder, as you put all this stuff back on, please use some Loctite because you will be doing metal to metal and that will vibrate back loose and that will make you sad while you're out driving for it to all come apart. First step here is I'm going to actually attach the linkage to the servo horn first using the supplied hardware nut in the back, screw with a washer on the front, before we put the horn to the servo, because of course we need to power this up before we install it. So I have the truck powered on. Make sure the servo does actually work. Make sure that my steering trim looks like it is in the middle. And then I'm going to make sure the wheels are approximately straight as I install the servo horn. You're never going to get them exactly straight, but you're just going to get it close. And still with it powered up, I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite again on my servo horn screw, and we will install it. And just like that. Oh my gosh. I'd say that's a little bit better than stock. What do you think? And look, it doesn't do any of this like floppy around stuff like the stock one did. After resetting my endpoints per the Spectrum instructions, oh my gosh, that is a very, very powerful servo. And remember, that's actually only at the 6 volt, which is making it 38 kg or something like that, 36 kg. So if we bumped up the BEC voltage to that servo, this thing would be nuts. As I steer it here, I can actually see the servo saver opening as I go back and forth. And so I'm gonna try actually I don't think I can do this necessarily with my fingers, so I'm gonna come in here with a pair of pliers, and I'm just gonna tighten this up a little bit. Hopefully, as I tighten up this servo saver, hopefully the servo's strong enough to withstand it. It's time for us to go out and do a bash and see how it holds up. Let's go give it a shot. I think that right there tells you how hard the test run was. It's got dirt and mud and grass in the servo saver. But the good news is it lived, right? So I purposely crashed the truck, did crazy stuff with it. Servo saver and the servo are no worse for wear. So KST Servo plus the Treal Servo saver, yeah, it looks like that might be a good combo for this truck. So I'll have links down below to the video in the video description for you, so you can see and you have direct links to those products in case that's something that you need. I have more stuff to do to this truck, so I'm going to get working on that. Thank you for watching. We will see you in that next video. Goodbye.